Welcome to Premeditated Success. Premeditated Success is very dear to me because it's the only book that my mentor co-authored with me, Tom Murphy. And he wrote all the books for like Tom Hopkins, Danielle Kennedy. He worked with Dr. Maxwell Maltz, Jay Abraham, just to name a few. Of course, Tom Hopkins was under his Champions Unlimited and all these. So we wrote this program together, and it really made a difference because we're talking about the word premeditated. And premeditated has a bad connotation, doesn't it? Because you think of premeditated murder. But let me show you, I'm going to read from the Webster's Dictionary. It says premeditated. It's a great success word. It says to plan, think out, beforehand, conscious, intentional, intended, willful, deliberate, calculated, preconceived, studied, purposeful, looking forward to. So it's a very good word for success also. So what I want to do is talk about the positive side of premeditated success. And all of you know me because all of you are in my program. And I hope you're taking advantage of all the audios and manuals and everything that you're working with. And some of you are working with me one-on-one, which is really a treat for me because that's when I can really make a difference. So let's get into it. We're recording this for you, so you'll have it for yourself. So you have infinite potential. That's the first thing you need to know. If you want to be in premeditated success, you have to tell yourself, I have infinite potential. See, I'll never forget when I was sitting with Bob Proctor at Mr. Murphy's home. We would spend like about every month a weekend at Mr. Murphy's home. He had a big house and he had a guest house, and that's where it would be Jim Rohn, Bob Proctor, and myself. What a treat for me, right? And he would say, you know, Omar, when we are born without limitations. And he's so right. And he said to me, because I was just about to have my first child, Alexandra, and he says to me, he says, you know, Omar, the first thing we do to our children is what? When we bring them home. You put them in a crib. What are they behind? Bars. So he said, what I want you to do with your kids is what I did with my son. He had Brian and other kids. And he said, what I did is I got a king-size bed and I put low railings all the way around and had them be freer. Now that's a little scary, right? But we did do that at first, but then, you know, my kids were pretty active, so we had to get a crib. But think about it, and we want to admit those folks. Think about it. When you're born, you have no limitations. The limitations have been brought to us by people around us, by our outer life, what people think of us, what we think of ourselves, all these different things. And, you know, I remember Jim Rohn sitting with me and saying, he'd say, don't wish for life to be less challenging. Don't wish for life to be less challenging. Wish for you to become better. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. And my mentor always said to me, because he was really close to Jim, he was one of his best friends. And he'd say, when I first met him, I'd say, Murph, things cost too much. And he said, no, you can't afford it, which meant I need to make more money. So it's all about mindset, guys. Every one of you has greatness within you. You all have greatness. Every one of you has so much potential. And, you know, we've done research, and you've seen the research, that we're only working at about 10% of our capabilities. So the key, if you're taking notes, is to learn to live above the line. Learn to live above the line, that 10%. You know, one of my goals is to it's called John Maxwell, who I love. He lives about 30 minutes from here. I named my son Maxwell after him because we worked together for 10 years, 10 cities a year. And he always said things about that law of the lid. You know, he said, there's a law of the lid, and your goal is to keep raising your lid every way and every day. And I say the key is to become a bigger container. See, God won't give you more than you can handle. If you've ever seen someone that makes a lot of money and loses it, there's a reason for that. God won't give you more than you can handle. So your goal is become a bigger container. Imagine there's a line between my thumbs there, and you're becoming bigger and better and better. So your goal is, Brian Tracy used to say to me, I was 19, he'd say, Omar, you got to become better every day. And he'd slap his hands, become better every day, become better every day, become better every day. Take the dry cleaning in better. Whatever you do it better. Just become better. I'd be getting ready to talk, and I was like 33 years old. He'd say, okay, son, they still call me son, go out there and become better, become better. And he drove me to become better every time I spoke. And that's what drove me to get to where I am. So the first thing I want you to do is to think about making your life count. Make your life count. So if you and I were to design your life, what would it look like, right? It's important that you don't base your goals or look at your life of what you have. Base your goals on what you want. As Tony Robbins says, what you focus on expands. So you want to focus on what you want, because what you focus on will expand. Like you've heard it before. If you focus on crap, you're going to get more crap. If you focus on greatness, you're going to work towards greatness. So remember that you have to create an image maker, as Bob Proctor would teach me, create an image of who you wish to become. And let's face it, no matter where we are, we want to be better, right? That's one of the great things about becoming, is we want to become better, because when we become better, we feel good. I don't know about you guys, people go, oh, when, like I hear people, well, I want to be a millionaire. No, it's not the money, it's who you become getting to the money. The money will make you happy, but it won't make you that happy. What makes you happy is recognition, achievement, success, helping others, community, all those things. But the money, like, won't make you happy. But Zig Ziglar said, money won't make you happy, but it will let you find out what will make you happy. He was funny. I love that guy. But listen, the bottom line is you got to make a decision that you're not going to live your life by default. You're going to live life on your own terms, and you're not going to leave anything in the tank. You're going to do everything you want to do. Don't worry about what's going on around you. Look, we all have our issues. It doesn't matter. What matters is staying positive, setting goals, working towards what you want, and create a, can I say this? Create a lightness of the negativity. There's a lot of things around us. Create a light, make it light, right? Don't let it affect you. Make it lighter. Make it lighter. Like, tell yourself, okay, I'm going through heck at this moment. Like Jim Rohn used to say, there's 4 seasons of life, right? And he'd say there's spring, there's fall, right? There's winter. Winter is when the shit hits the fan, right? So if you're in a winter, don't let the winter affect you as much. Try to think lighter in your mind of it. Lighter, right? So next, it all begins with faith and belief. First, when I met Mr. Murphy, he says I was having a pity party. I was having, my parents are poor. I sound like Ricky Ricardo. I did. Now I got a Chicago accent. Go figure. So, and I'd say I live in a 200 square foot apartment. My car's broken. I eat tuna out of cans. He said, stop it. You got to have a little faith, son. He says, put a little faith. And Zig Ziglar used to do it really great. If any of you ever saw him, he had this pump. He would bring this pump from the farm, and he had this gold pump. It wasn't gold when he first started. Somebody did it for him. And he'd say, when you're at the farm and you're at the well, you got to prime the pump. You got to prime the pump. The water doesn't just come out, right? Got to put a little something in the front to draw the water. So right now, wherever you are, prime your pump. Give yourself a pat on the back and say, I did good. I did good. It all begins with faith and belief, believing that you can do whatever you want. Look, we're not always going to get everything we want, but we can strive for outrageous goals so we get something, right? I always talk about setting goals and outrageous goals. I set outrageous goals always, because if I don't get the outrageous goal, I still hit my goal. But it's very important that you set 2 goals. One, what you want, and what would be outstanding, right? So faith and belief. Next, you got to create your best tomorrow. Life is a smorgasbord. You heard me on Instagram today. I talked about it. If people are coming to life with a teaspoon, come with a forklift. Lift, live life, and realize that you are here to experience different things. You're here to laugh. You're here to sing. You're here to cry. You're here to be sad. You're here to be happy. It's okay. It's okay. We're human. The key is to become better every day and create your best tomorrow. So if you and I could create an image of what you want and design your life, what would it look like? Remember, don't think about your goals. Think from your goals. Let me explain. When you think from your goals, you already think, as Stephen Covey said, with the goal accomplished, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Begin with the end in mind. Very important. Next, Zig Ziglar taught me this. He said, you got to be, son. You got to be ready. You got to be alert. Got to be alert. You got to be alert. There's opportunities going on around you right now. Are you seeing them? Are you seeing them? They're around you. Don't miss out. You might, but don't be alert. Be alert for opportunities. When one door closes, a better one opens. When one door closes, a better one opens. Be open to opportunities. Be alert. Expect to win. I expect to win every day. Do you win every day? No. Some days are not that great. So you take that lemon and turn it into what? Lemonade, right? And so you got to expect to win, though, because if you wake up with a positive attitude, and I wake up and I hope you guys don't mind, but I pray. It's the first thing I do. I pray. That's how I start my day. Second, I work out. I love to work out. I work out 7 days a week. Unless I feel something in my body, I'll take a day off. But I work out 7 days a week, even if it's just a walk, like 10, I do 10,000 steps every day. I love it. But if I feel something, I don't do it. So expect to win in all areas of your life. And of course, take action. Take massive and immediate action. I believe the reason I became who I am is because I was told by my mentors to take massive and immediate action. And I adapted that to my lifestyle. Every day I take action. People say to me, why are you still doing what you're doing? Everybody knows I'm very successful. If money is success to you. By the way, money is not the most successful thing for me. Number 1 is spirituality. Number 2 is health. To get rich and sick is stupid. Number 3 is happiness. Money is the 4th. But you need money to have a great life. However, money is not the most important thing to me, but it does help. But why do I do what I do? Why do I keep doing events? Why do I keep working with my mentees? Because I believe people invested their life into my life, and it would be a sin for me not to invest my life into others. So that's why I do this. And I want you to realize that it's important that you take action on everything you're doing, because if you don't, you won't get what you want. And how many times have you seen something on TV or someone doing something or writing a book with a title that you thought of already? Right? I mean, how many times have you seen an idea that becomes a book or a movie or a product on Home Shopping Network or any of those, and you're like, I thought of that a long time ago. The key is, what did they do? They took action. They took massive and immediate action. And by the way, so can you. So can you, because you got it. But you got to say to yourself, me, I'm doing it right now. I will not be denied. Don't be denied of the greatness you have within you. And that I can show you someday. I'd like to show you a paper. I was sitting in my apartment and I started with a big marker. And I went with different colors, and I will not be denied. I will not be denied. I will not be denied. And boy, things started to change for me. Jim Rohn used to say to me, the simple things to do are also the simple things not to do. He said, Omar, if you could take some simple things and put them into your life, and if it made you better, why not? So that's how I adapted that. Why not attitude? Do it. Just why not go out there? And the simple things to do are the simple things not to do. And he'd always say, like, he'd say to me, Omar, what if an apple a day does keep the doctor away? That's an easy thing, right? And he was great. I loved his delivery. He was so smart. Loved him. Loved being around him. So take action. Next, what are you going to do the rest of your life? I know that sounds crazy, but how many times it happened to me yesterday? I went into a place, a deli here in Boca Raton, and there was a line. And I know what I want, because when I walk in, I know what I want, because I go to this place all the time. And it was Sunday, and I wanted my Leo omelet. Leo omelet's like with egg whites, Nova, and a little bit of onion, like 2 onions. So I walked in, I had my bagel, and they know me. I'm like, and everybody's lined up, and like, and they're like, I'm like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? They weren't ready yet. I said, you guys mind if, you know what I want, right? He goes, yep, okay, it's Sunday. That's what I get on Sunday. Okay, so I got it, because I knew what I wanted. Most people don't know what they want. So the first key for you to do is to reflect. Jim Rohn used to make me reflect 1 weekend a month on what I want. He'd make me reflect 1 week at the end of the year of what I wanted, right? So you've got to reflect, because when your mind is creative, that's when you can define your dream. The mind needs to be relaxed and creative to be better, right? Next. Can I change? Yes. So let's talk about change. The only way you can become better is change, right? Wherever you are, keep the good, throw away the bad, and change. When you change, everything will change for you. So the only way you grow is by changing. And I'll show you something that I learned. If you change, everything will change for you, because every change makes a difference. It's a domino effect. It's a domino effect. And that's so important. So the key is to commit to continuous and never-ending improvement. Continuous and never-ending improvement. So important. Now, the first thing is to change your attitude. Change your attitude. So change the way you look at things, right? As Bob Proctor used to say, he'd take a glass of water and he'd fill it halfway. And you know what he was going to say? The glass is what? Half full or half empty. How do you look at it? So you need to change your attitude about everything. When you look at someone, change your attitude about them. Unless they've really hurt you, then cut them out. We don't want any negative people in our life, right? But change your attitude. Change your thinking. Change the way you look at things. You know, it'll change. You know, they've done research that wealthy people have see brighter colors. They really do. And when you get a chance, do this exercises. I did it with Tony Robbins, and what he does in his mastermind, I was a keynote for his mastermind, right? People pay 55 grand to go to that. I was the teacher for it at the mastermind. I was the teacher also for the Think and Grow Rich mastermind with Sharon Lechter. So the key is you close your eyes sometimes. When you're just close your eyes for like 30 seconds and then look for a color, like say blue. And then you open your eyes and you'll see the blues are brighter. So think about that. But they've done research that wealthy people see things in brighter colors. So, and when I mean wealthy, I mean intelligent, not just money, right? Okay. All right. We need to let him in. All right. So the key to unlocking the doors to the attitudes of your mind. Okay. So the keys to unlocking the doors to the attitudes of your mind. So here's something Bob Proctor and Jim Rohn taught me. And I'm sharing with you gems, guys. I hope you know that. Things that were taught to me, not at seminars, at Murphy's house on the weekends, and going to Cancun with Bob Proctor, and going to the farm in Idaho with Jim Rohn, right, with Mr. Murphy. So the first thing is you got to tell yourself, can I entertain others' ideas? So here's what I want you to think about. Can I entertain a new idea? And the answer is yes. And that's how I look at life. Because if I have an idea and you and I see a better idea, I'm willing to throw away my idea. Right? Because that idea is better, right? So let's talk about something that happened today. Whether you like him or not, Elon Musk changed his logo to Twitter. It's now called X, right? So he changed it to an X. I don't know if you guys know that. So he changed it today, this in the morning. It was when you woke up, there was no bird anymore. Twitter is now called X. So why? Because he wanted a better idea. So he put out into the universe to people, will you, will you send me something that you think is better than the bird, the tweet? And people sent in things. So after his team got together, they came up with just X. That's it, X. So what did he do? He's smart because he's willing to throw out an old idea, even though it would have still worked, right, guys? The bird, the Twitter. What do you call it now? X. What do you, retweeted? That's going to be interesting. So, but he's smart. So unless you change who you are, you always be where you are. So commit to excellence. Anything that's better, take it, embrace it. If it doesn't work out for you, let it go, right? Not everything is for everyone. Like, for instance, working out. I have a friend of mine, he loves to do, throw these big tractor tires. He lifts them up and throws them, lifts them up. You've seen people do that, right? And they throw like a tire and he's like, come on, Omar. And then he walks around with 50-pound dumbbells in his hands and he walks around the gym. And I'm like, dude, I ain't doing that, okay? He says, and now, I hate to say it, but my dear friend has to get 2 knees replaced because he's always worked out really hard. And I've worked out, but I used to work out. I was a powerlifter, so I knew that my body was changing. So I work out, but I don't work out to the point where I want to be in, a mutter or some one of those races, So the key is to think, but change your thinking. We think a lot more than we when we're thinking, we just keep thinking and thinking and thinking. So what I want you to do is to think about good stuff. Think about good stuff, right? Think about good stuff. And we all get negative thoughts. One of my goals in life is to have a positive day all day. But we get hit with 1,500 negative influences a day. 1,500. So it's hard to stay positive the whole day, right? You get up in the morning, you leave the house, somebody cuts you off, they give you the what, and then somebody yells at you, you're like, I didn't even do anything. It's like, so you got to think, whenever negative things come to you, pull the weeds, replace it with a seed of greatness. I call negative thoughts weeds. Pull the weeds out of your mind and replace that seed with a seed of greatness. That means a great thought. How do you do that, Omar? Got to be aware. Awareness is the first key. Be aware of what's around you. Be aware of the negative people. Be aware of the positive people. Hang around eagles. Don't hang around people that bring you down. Don't hang around the quicksand crowd. They're not going to help you. So, and if they're in your home, then you got to just, one thing I'm going to say, sometimes success is a do-it-yourself project. Like when I started out, I love my friends and my hometown, but they didn't get me because I'm an entrepreneur. And they all, God bless them, because of my training, we've worked together, are very successful. Every one of them, believe it or not. And they're all retired at the age of 55, which I'd go crazy if I retired. But I love them and I help them become financially independent. And they worked for the city. They work for Commonwealth Edison. They work for refineries, and they're all successful, right? and they're happy. So for me, I was making them aware that they needed to do certain things no matter what their income was, so they could have financial independence in their life at their level that they want. But everybody's different. Not everyone wants to become a multimillionaire. And you know what? That's okay. Because Jim Rohn says, when he used to say to people when they come up, he says, they'd say to him, Mr. Rohn, I don't need much. He says, well, then, son, you don't have to become much. Or miss, you don't have to become much. The bigger you want to become, the more you're going to have an abundance in all areas of your life, right? So success, what does success mean to you? You need to sit down with yourself and say, what does success mean to me? What does it mean to me? I'll give you a definition that I took from Earl Nightingale, my mentor, Tom Hopkins, and myself, and I created a whole new, I got all these mentors in this. I didn't make this up. I rewrote it and quoted it. So everybody that's on, please mute yourself. We're trying to get a good recording for the team, please. So here's the definition that I put together with Earl Nightingale and Mr. Murphy. The continuous journey towards the progressive realization of a predetermined worthwhile goal, right? The continuous journey means it always continues. You got to set a goal above the goal, because if you hit your goal, you got to keep going, right? Towards a progressive realization, something you're realizing, meaning you're progressing towards it. It's predetermined, premeditated, and it's a worthwhile goal. It's something that you're going to wake up in the morning, be obsessed about all day, and go to sleep thinking about it, right? And it's a positive, worthwhile goal. Continuous journey towards the progressive realization of a predetermined, worthwhile goal. And when you do that, you're going to feel better. So if you keep doing the same thing, what do you get? Same results. So we can't do that, right? So I want you to keep thinking about that image maker, and think about that image maker and make a decision that you're going to become that image that you want. Think about that image. When we get off this call, I want you, some of you already have a storyboard or a dream board. Make sure you keep adjusting that storyboard and dream board. I do it every 30 days. And you're probably saying, why are you doing it, Omar? Because it keeps me on target, right? People wonder, why do you track 1 week of your month every month? Because it keeps me on target, blocks my time, activity, all these different things. It keeps me on target. Everyone, who motivates the motivator, right? Who motivates the motivator? I call my mentor, Tom Murphy's 89 years young in a month. In 3 weeks, he'll be 89 years young. I call him every month, right? I talk to my mentors, Tom Hopkins, right? I used to talk to Zig, Jim, Bob. They're gone, unfortunately. So, it's, and by the way, you can be mentored by books or audios like the ones I have or I listen to, all right? So the mind success connection, it is mind. The mind is the steering wheel, right? The 6 inches between your ears. The mind is a steering wheel. And whatever you steer your mind, it will give you positive results or negative results. You're either taking 1 step forward or 2 steps back. Sometimes you will take a step back. That's okay, as long as the next step is forward, right? So remember, the mind is a steering wheel. The mind is a steering wheel, and it's very important that it steers the body. So how do you do that, Omar? Well, goals. Let's talk about goals. Goals. Goals is fun for me. I love goals. I love it. I love goals. I have goals in every area of my life. I love it. I love it. And I want you to love it. So we're going to talk about goals a little bit right now. The first thing is premeditated goals. So the first thing I want you to do is to have a day of change, because attitude is everything, right? Attitude is everything. I remember an old timer telling me, sat me down, I was 20 years old. He said, Omar, take the word attitude and put a number to each letter. Like A is 1, right? And you go all the way up to attitude and it equals 100%. Isn't that crazy? Attitude, if you use the numbers, equals 100%. And an old timer told me that. I was sitting down and telling me that. But attitude is everything. So you need a day of I've had it, a day of change. You know, Jim Rohn talks about the day that Girl, Girl Scout was selling Girl Scout cookies, and he couldn't open the door because he had no money and he couldn't buy a box of Girl Scout cookies. That was his day of change. He said, I will never feel like that again. And he didn't. That was his turning point. For me, it was the day I was sitting in the 200 square foot apartment, and I was miserable. My car was broken. I was eating tuna. I was walking to work. I had no money, and it was so embarrassing. And I just got sick of it. And I prayed so much that day, and I met Mr. Murphy that day. Thank God. Attitude is everything. Next, find your purpose. What's your why? Find your why. What is your why? Now, you can have more than one why, guys. You know that, right? Like, I have multiple whys. You guys are my why. You guys are my why, right? You're my why. My kids are my why, right? The community's my why, right? That kind of thing. My relationships are my why. My friends are my why. Family's my why. All these different things. That's your why. Find your purpose. That's your why. All right. Next. Whoa, I don't know what happened. Somebody's writing on my thing there. Guys, don't do that. Erase that. Turn your dreams into realities. Turn your dreams into realities. Okay? Turn your dreams into realities. All right? So that's your what. That's your what. That's your what. Next. Create a strategic plan. Create a strategic plan. That's your when. So you got your why, your what, your when. Next. Take massive action. Take massive and immediate action. Make sure you take massive and immediate action, okay? And then, of course, stay focused. Stuff's going to happen to you. Stuff's going to happen to you. So you got to stay focused. Stuff is going to happen to you, all right? Stay strong and flexible. And then do the things that successful men and women do. Condition your mind and body for success, like eating right, like exercise, like feeding your mind, right? Like feeding your mind with positive thoughts, like listening to audios. Like I've been listening to audios my whole life, and I love it. It's fun for me. So keep doing that, okay? Now, if I could show you how to do that, what would that be worth to you? So I'm going to do that for you, okay? So take a look. Next, here are there's more categories, but I put these up for you. Spiritual, right? Set spiritual goals. I love setting spiritual goals. Like right now, I'm rereading the Bible. Whatever you do, whatever you read, God bless you. Just do it, right? Intellect. I decided this week that I would go back to reading a book a week, and I am. And that's what I'm doing. And next, emotional. Got to work on emotions. Emotions are tough. They're a roller coaster. They can be good, they can be bad. So you got to monitor your emotions, because your emotions can take you out. They can really take you out and move you away from what you want and your success. It can overcome you. It's overcoming for some people. Some people, I have a friend of mine I went to college with. Every time he calls me, he's doom and gloom. I'm like, dude, I'm a motivational speaker. Let me give you some advice. And I give him advice, and he calls you back, and I'm like, come on, you got to come out of this. You got to come out of this. You got to come out of this. So focus on positive emotions. Does anyone have a perfect day? No. Does anyone have a perfect life? No. Everybody has issues. Everybody has problems. You see people on the internet. That's another thing. I talked to a student today. Let me say something to you. Don't compare yourself to people on the internet. You do you. You be the best you possible. Stop comparing yourself to people. It's a no-win thing. And by the way, most of those people, they only show the highlights of their life. They never show the lowlights or the dark lights. right? So don't compare yourself. Don't you be the best you, and you be the best you every day. And like Brian Tracy said, every day, every way you're working on becoming better. Physical. You guys all know I'm crazy about that. I love to work out. I walk, I bike, I work out with weights. I, do push-ups wherever I am. I'll never forget 20 years, 20 years ago, I was on Get Motivated. I was on Get Motivated from 1994 till they closed their doors for pandemic. We saw 20,000 to 30,000 people 50 times a year, guys, 50 times a year. And I'll never forget, I met at the end of his life, President Ford, and he was very fit. And I heard someone ask him, what do you do to stay in shape? And we were at a luncheon. He goes, well, because I'm on the road a lot, doing these speaking engagements or on boards, I do 20 minutes of isometrics and exercises in my hotel room every day or at home. And I'm like, wow, look at that, 20 minutes a day the guy does 7 days a week. So whatever you do something, right? And stay away from the stuff that is negative, right? Next, career. Work on your career, but more than that, work on getting out of your career. Financial independence, right? Meaning your career needs to be something that you build to the point where I'm going to cover number 7, which is financial. Family goals are very important, very important. So I'm going away with my kids for 2 weeks, and we just hang out together, do things together for 2 weeks in California. And that's a family goal that we have. We do it every year, normally all summer, but this year only 2 weeks. Okay, financial. Let's talk about financial. It's one of my favorite topics. Financial to me, I want you all to listen to me. Please listen up. Financial to me is living your life on the resources that are working while you sleep. Living your life on the resources that are working while you sleep. Multiple streams of income is not another job. Multiple streams of income is not 3 jobs. Multiple streams of income is earning money while you sleep. So I want you to really work on that, because all of you can do it. If a Cuban immigrant can come from Cuba, not speak the language, not get a degree, and become a multimillionaire by the age of 31, a while ago for me, Christian, why not you? You're smart. Why not now? I don't care what age you are. Zig Ziglar started his speaking career at the age of what, 45? Don't put an age on your limit. Why not you? Why not now? Why not starting today? You're smart. You can do this, but you got to say, why not me? Why not now? Why not starting today? Omar says, I got what it takes, and I know what it takes, because he says faith and belief in that I have infinite potential, and you do. So I want you to realize, very important. So it's not where you are. Remember, don't base your goals on where you are. Base your goals on where you're going, right? It's not where you are, it's where you're going. It's very important. To hit a goal, you need 2 things at first: desire and a willingness to act. Desire and a willingness to act. You can have all the desire in the world, but if you don't have a willingness to act, forget it. I mean, you think about people like, my neighbor in California is Mark Cuban, and he talks about how he bought the Mavericks for $245 million when he sold his company to Microsoft. That's $1 billion company, guys, billions and billions. And he bought that team for $245 million. Why? He had a desire. He's from Canada, by the way. And he wanted to own a team, a basketball team. So he had a desire and a willingness to act, and he went out and bought that team, right? But he built something to sell to become a billionaire so he could buy that team. So very important. Next, dare to dream. Visualize your dreams. Create storyboards. Create all kinds of dream boards. Visualize your dreams. I get to the point where I visualize my dreams. I have this dream screen, I call it, the dream screen. All of you that are working with me, go and listen to Success Blueprint or Premeditated Success. I have the script for you there. And the dream screen, and years ago, they used to have this thing at Disney World. This is where Murphy got it from, and he taught it to me. And there was a screen all the way around you. I don't know if you ever saw it. I went to it when I was a kid. And the screen wrapped you around, and you felt like you were in a horse buggy in, or you're driving a sports car or whatever it was. But the dream screen is exactly the same. It's a 360-degree screen that has all your goals on it. But listen up, all your goals are in the front of the screen, like a computer. So what I want you to do is 3 times a day, close your eyes, visualize, reach up, grab one of your goals, close your eyes, keep your eyes closed, put it in the middle of the screen, open it up like that 360, and be in the goal, be in the dream. The more you visualize it, the more senses you encounter, the more senses you put into it, the more better, faster you're gonna get to this goal. So for instance, let me give you an example. When I was a kid, I always loved cars. So I wanted to get an exotic car. So I started doing well, and I set a goal to get a Ferrari. And Mr. Murphy says, let's go. I go, where are you going? We're going to the Ferrari dealership. So we went to the Ferrari dealership, and then they had all the manuals and all that. So we got all the manuals. Mr. Murphy's already very successful. Mr. Murphy's 30 years older than me. So he said, hey, can we sit in this Ferrari? And the salesman says, absolutely, because he looked like successful. He is, So we sat in the Ferrari. He said, can we start it? He says, sure. We started the Ferrari. He turned the radio on. He said, smell the leather, Omar. Close your eyes, smell the leather, Omar. Feel the steering wheel, Omar. Turn the stereo on, Omar. Hit the gas a little bit. Listen to the roar of the engine, Omar. Remember all these senses, because we're going to write them down the moment we leave this car. And we sat in his truck, and I laid out the whole thing to get that car in 1 year, and I got it in 6 months. Why? We visualized, we got all our senses involved, and we were able to achieve the likeness of that goal in the dream screen. And so can you. And I have it on your audio, Success Blueprint, Premeditated Success. Go listen to it, please. Next, keep visualizing more than one goal. So what I do is I take my top 3 goals. Bob Proctor taught me this. I put it in the back of a business card, and I put them there. And in the morning, I look at it after I pray. At lunch, I look at it while I'm eating. And at night, I look at it when I'm winding down. And I do that, and I visualize one of my goals at that time for 5 minutes. Now on the weekend, I'll do the whole dream screen thing, okay? So the whole thing, guys, is to create a new paradigm, as Stephen Covey said. A paradigm is nothing but a habit. It's a multitude of habits. You want to change your habits. So create habits of successful men and women, right? Like getting up with a positive attitude, eating right, exercising, feeding your mind, watching what you're doing, watching your emotions, being a source of light in the world to others, right? Do the things that failures won't. Do the things that failures won't. Condition your mind for success. Remember, success is connected to action. When you do one action, that moves to another action. Action creates positive momentum. Momentum creates success. Now, motivation can be positive and motivation can be negative. You know that, right? So we want to make sure that we're focusing on the positive, moving towards what we want and what we deserve, right? So tell yourself, I deserve success, whatever that is, right? Spiritual, health, happiness, or money, whatever it is. Next, make your goal a whole new way of life. You must be obsessed with your goal. You want to be that man or woman that when you walk into a networking or a party, everybody goes, oh my God, here he comes, here she comes. Oh, they love what they do so much. They just want to talk to me about it. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And you're like, yes, that's me, because I wanted this so bad. I want to be a speaker. I want to be an author. I want to own my own company. I want to be a mentor. I want to build a company. I want to upgrade my life. I want to upgrade my company. I want to sell. I want to exit my company. I want to do something different. I want to go around the world. Whatever you want. It's your life. Don't leave anything in the tank. Don't leave anything in the tank. Okay? And I love this. Bob Proctor taught me this. Is my goal worthy of me? Not am I worthy of the goal? Is my goal worthy of me? So what you do is you set your goal and then reverse engineer it to make sure that that's exactly what you want. Now, things will change. You know that, right? But set your goals and reverse engineer to where you are today so you get to where you want. And you must have a goal that has more power. So set potent goals. If you're setting the goal that you set last year, guys, please let me record a clean recording for the team. Mute yourself. So it's very important that you are monitoring your emotions. You set potent goals, and don't base your goals on what you see, based on your goals on what you want. But if you keep setting the same goals, your goals are defaulting. Your goals, you're living your goals by default because you're not reprogramming. Whatever you're doing now, make it better. Today, make it better. Whatever you're doing now, you got 5 months. 5 months. Take your year and beef it up and make it better. Make it better. All right, I'm doing it. I'm doing it myself. I'm making it better. And tell yourself, I will not be denied of the greatness that I have within me. So your goals should scare you and excite you. I love that. As J-Lo says, if it doesn't give you goosies, then it's not a good enough goal. You got to get the goosies, J-Lo says. You know, you got to get the goosies. Got to get the little hair standing on your arms or legs, whatever you want to do. But you got to get the goosies, right? Your goals should scare you and excite you to want you to go to another level. So remember, we all have, I want you to sit and reflect for your wants and go from vision, cross that bridge of acquisition, all right? And keep going, okay? So what is the one quality of highly successful men and women? I'll tell you the one quality Mr. Murphy and I discovered writing Premeditated Success. The one quality that every woman and man has that's successful is the common denominator that we found in every man or woman that's successful is discipline. Discipline. It's my favorite word in success. The ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Let me say that again. The ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Discipline. It's right here. That's Webster's dictionary definition. The ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Discipline. Discipline. You know, discipline. Discipline gives you tenacity, persistence, right? It'll give you burn the bridges goals. Go burn the bridges so you can't go back. If you burn the bridges and you can't go back, you're going to go forward. You're going to go forward. So learn to burn the bridges. You don't know how close you are when you quit a goal. People don't know how close they are when they quit. You know, why start a journey if you're not going to finish it? Unless the market changes on you, right? You want to have the right vehicle, right? But don't start a journey unless you're going to finish it, right? Finish the journey. Finish the journey. Burning desire. Focus obsessively. So I have a room for 3 people to mentor with me one-on-one privately. So I want you to ask yourself, are you willing to invest in yourself? Are you willing to invest in your future? Success in the moment, make every moment count. If you're interested, and most of you are already with me, I only take 12 people a year. I have 3 positions open. Mentor with me, email me at info@omarperiu.com, and we will set up a time to talk. There is an investment. It's not free. Just want you to know, but it is affordable. So my mission is your phenomenal success. Evie, why don't we stop the recording and then we'll take questions?